Okay, so for the past few talks, we have been discussing about this Samanya Lakkhana, the common or universal characteristic. So it means the characteristic that is common or universal to all the mental and physical nature. That is their nature of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Okay? Yeah, this of course has very directly to do with vipassana meditation. Okay? Because vipassana insight by definition means the insight, wisdom, clarity of mind that discerns clearly this nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. Okay? So in vipassana meditation, what we are striving to do is to develop this clear insight, discern clearly the nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. Okay? Why? Nothing better to do. Want to see suffering. No, it's because it is this insight that will, when it's well developed, it will cut into the root of attachment, which is the cause of suffering. Okay? You remove the cause of suffering. Okay? So when the cause of suffering is removed, then the yogi will experience the cessation of suffering. When you remove the cause, the effect, which is suffering, ceases. Okay? So actually vipassana meditation is the development of the Noble Eightfold Path itself. Okay? Yeah. So out of these three characteristics, anicca, dukkha, anatta, so far we have already discussed anicca lakkhana and dukkha lakkhana. Okay? So anicca lakkhana means the characteristics or signs of impermanent. What is it about this nama rupa, this mental physical nature, which when we observe, the signs that we observe in this mental physical nature, that tells us that it is impermanent. Okay? Yeah. So this is none other than, as we have explained, the nature of disappearance upon arising. Okay. So hutva abhava dena aniccam is impermanence in the sense of disappearance upon arising. Okay. And it is said that this nature is concealed by continuity. Okay. So when we do not develop clear insight into the nature of nama rupa, when you do not practice vipassana to develop clear insight, then this nature of impermanence is concealed, hidden away by what we call santati, this continuity. That means this appearance which gives rise to the idea that there is something in our experience that is existing continuously, unchanging. Okay? So, how does this idea of appearance of continuity arise? Because we do not pay attention to the moment-to-moment arising and disappearing of this mental physical nature. Okay, so so when we do not pay attention, we do not have this clear insight that discerns clearly the moment-to-moment rise and fall of this mental physical nature. Then all these different nature that are present in our experience. Okay, every single moment. Okay? They are all like appear to be joined together. There does not seem to be any boundary between the disappearance of one nature and the arising of another nature. So therefore they appear all joined together. So they appear to be one single continuous thing. So this is called santati, continuity. Okay? And usually we will, because we do not see clearly, we will then identify this continuity as something permanent, as a permanent entity, be a self or something belonging to a self. Okay? Like when you note rising, falling, so you cannot see the boundary between rising and the falling. So it appears as one whole thing, just one abdomen, rising, falling. So, and you cannot see the nature of the mind noting. So the knowing also become like one single continuous knowing. And then you identify, I am knowing. I know the abdomen rising, falling. So you identify as I there. Or you identify as the, something belonging to the I, to the self. This is my abdomen. Right? Yeah. So to reveal clearly the nature of this anicca, this disappearance upon arising. So yogi needs to make effort to develop clear insight. Okay. So when there's this clarity of mind that discerns that moment to moment arising, disappearance. So when the yogi discern again and again, every moment, any mental or physical nature that arises, that is noted, notice that it disappears upon arising. Okay. Whether it's mental nature or physical nature, the moment you note it, you notice it disappear upon arising. So when you note this again and again, everything that arises within the experience, without exception, it disappear. Okay? So when you note this again and again and again, then yogi begin to realize the nature of anicca. Okay? The nature of impermanence. You become convinced that everything is impermanent. Sabbe sankhara anicca. All formations, all this nama rupa are impermanent without exception. Then this we also discuss about dukkha lakkhana, the characteristic or the signs of suffering. So this is explained as the continuous continuous oppression by rise and fall. Okay, so when the yogi notes again and again the continuous, never-ending process, arising, disappearance of this mental or physical nature. So you come to discern clearly how oppressive this never-ending process is, how terrible, how difficult to bear. So this is the nature of dukkha lakkhana. This is the signs that tell us that this mental, physical nature, manama rupa dhamma, they are dukkha, they are suffering. Okay. So it is said that this signs or characteristic of suffering, this oppressive nature of the continuous rise and fall of the nama rupa, they are, when we are not meditating, they are concealed by the posture, which we explained means the change of posture. So if we keep changing posture, so if we have this propensity to keep shifting our posture, our body about, every time we feel even just a little bit uncomfortable, we begin to shift about. So we move our posture in order to avoid experiencing the oppressive nature of the body. So it means again and again we try to escape. Instead of turning to face the nature of suffering, we run away. So I remember there's a Zen saying, I think it's from the Zen tradition. Say if you run away from the world will chase after you. If you turn to face the world will stop. Something like that. My memory might have failed me. Now I'm getting old. So, so we must turn to face nature of suffering. Otherwise, you continuously run away from suffering. Suffering will keep chasing you. You continuously get caught up with samsara. And that's what we do in Vipassana meditation. We turn to face the nature of suffering. So that's why this practice requires viriya, the quality of the warrior, the vira, the hero. What is the quality of the hero or the warrior? Courage. You must have this courage to turn, face your suffering. So pain arises in the body, not the pain. Don't run away. So only when you are courageous to note the pain, not continuously, then you can come to know clearly the true nature of the pain. Okay? Then only you can transcend the pain. Dukkha domanasana samatikamaya. Remember the purpose of the practice of satipatthana, also the benefit of the practice of satipatthana, for the overcoming, going beyond this dukkha and domanasa. So this physical and mental pain. Yes, so it's not just our propensity to keep shifting our body about in order to escape the oppressive nature of the body. Okay, so it's also the propensity to keep distracting the mind with various objects, various especially interesting new objects, in order to avoid having to face the oppressive nature of the mind. So if you like something, let's say you like to eat. What do you like to eat? What do you like to eat? Roast pork. So ask Sister Sam to give you roast pork every day. For breakfast, for lunch, nothing else but roast pork. Not even rice, just roast pork. How many days can you last? So after maybe first few days you enjoy. After a few days you tell Sister Sam, no more, please, no more. So because your mind gets bored of it, it feels oppressive. So you keep wanting to find a new object, new food. So so in order to experience clearly the nature of dukkha, so in our practice we need to remain still, both in the body and the mind. So the body, you hold it still, don't move. Okay? Remember we said that when you sit down, you must try to adopt a comfortable posture, as comfortable as possible. Okay? But once you have adopted that posture, then don't move. No matter what happened, don't move. So it's not going to remain comfortable. When all this nature, stiffness, tightness, all keep arising, you keep noting, then you start to discern clearly the oppressive nature of the body. This is one way to come to see clearly nature, the suffering nature of the body. Okay? That's why there's one meditation method in Thailand. So I don't know if they're still there. I think they are still around. So where they, when they meditate, they ask you to sit down on a chair. Any chair you like, you can sit. It's comfortable. Sofa, so never mind, sit. So you sit down there, but then you're not supposed to move after that. Not even your fingers or anything. So, and you sit for hours, and then you continuously have to note whatever sensation arise. You have to continuously note. Yeah. So we do something like this also in our practice. Once you sit down, cross-legged, keep your body upright, then you hold that posture. Yeah, eventually you will discern the oppressive nature of this body. Because now you're not escaping, you're not shifting around to escape the oppressive nature of the body. So you let the oppressive nature reveals itself instead of shifting about, and you conceal the nature. Yeah. Also, to hold the mind still and continuously on the object that you're noting. Don't keep running here and there, this object, that object as you like. So you hold attention, rising, falling means rising, falling, note continuously. Secondary object, only if prominent. If it really pulls your attention away, because it's a very prominent object, then only you note. If it is not a prominent object, very mild sensation, you ignore. Don't note. Stay with rising, falling, note continuously. Okay? You have to train the mind to note like this. Otherwise, after a while, this object boring, then you give excuse. Nothing happening there. I better go and note another object. So after a while, you find this object also you bought with it, and you give another excuse. Here, this one also nothing happening. You change another object. You keep shifting here and there. You not go anywhere. You keep following the dictate of your mind. That means that you follow the kilesa mara. Mara as a defilement. Yeah, defilement is also mara. You follow it. So the defilement say, this object no good, not another one. You follow. This object too painful, don't note. Go another object, you follow. So in the mind, the defilements are very skillful in finding excuses for you to change object. Excuses according to the Dhamma. This object, nothing happening. I cannot see any change. So I better note another object. So yeah, whatever object you note, hold the mind still and continuously on the object. Note it continuously. So as you pay attention like this continuously on the object, gradually as you keep discerning the never-ending arising, disappearing nature, and at some point you begin to discern the oppressive nature due to the rise and fall, never-ending, continuous rise and fall of this mental physical nature. Yeah, so you notice here both nature, anicca lakkhana, dukkha lakkhana. So they are, you discern them through observing sankhata lakkhana, the conditioned nature of arising and disappearing. Right? Yeah. So that's why when you practice vipassana, first sabbhava lakkhana, that's the foundation, right? So you discern this unique characteristic of this mental, physical, each mental or physical phenomena that arise. Yeah, so you discern the stiffness, tightness, tension, pressure, hardness, softness, heat, cold, quality of knowing, quality of feeling, of perceiving. So this is the foundation nature. Okay, this is nama rupa dhamma. Okay, and then after that, you cannot skip straight away from this to discern anicca, dukkha, anatta. So first you discern clearly this mental physical nature. Then you must discern the sankhata lakkhana, how they arise, how they disappear. Okay? And you must discern this again and again continuously. Okay? So you discern again and again the mental physical nature. Arising, disappearing, this continuous process of arising, disappearing of the nama rupa. Then the samanya lakkhana, the common characteristic anicca, dukkha, anatta, they are to be found in this sankhata lakkhana, in this continuous process of arising and disappearing. So the disappearance itself, that is the nature of anicca, right? So anicca lakkhana is the disappearance upon arising. Okay, it's the disappearance that is the nature of impermanent. So when you discern again and again, whatever nature that is noted disappear. Okay, every moment you see this nature that is noted disappear. So moment after moment, there's disappearance. So from this you come to realize the nature of anicca. Okay? So it's from contemplating the sankhata lakkhana that you come to discern the anicca lakkhana. Okay? And then yadaniccham tam dukkham. That what is impermanent, that is dukkha. Okay, so there is dukkha precisely because it is anicca. It keeps disappearing. So again and again it arises only to disappear. Arise and disappear. Arise again to disappear. So by observing this continuous disappearance upon arising again and again, the yogi come to experience this continuous process of impermanent as oppressive, right? Continuously disappearing, breaking up, dissolving away. So as we explained the other day, it is your existence itself that is continuously disappearing, dissolving away. So you are actually observing again and again how your birth and your death, moment to moment. Every moment, 5 aggregates arise and disappear. right? What is five aggregates? You are five aggregates, right? So yeah, arising, disappearing, birth and death, again and again. So you're dying, you're observing yourself dying again and again. Is it pleasant? It's oppressive, it's terrible, it's unbearable. That's the nature of dukkha. Yeah. So the nature of dukkha is to be found in anicca, in impermanence. So that which is impermanent, that is also dukkha, that is also suffering. In another sutta, Garimananda Sutta, the Buddha says, anicca dukkha sanya, the perception of dukkha, suffering, the perception of suffering in anicca, in impermanence. Okay? So you discern, you perceive the nature of suffering in impermanence. Okay? Okay, so the third one is anatta lakkhana, the characteristic of non-self. Yeah, so again, this is from the Visuddhimagga. So we explain how this nature of non-self, how it is concealed, and how can we note in order to reveal is the nature of non-self. Yeah, so anatta lakkhanam nana dhatu vinibhogasa amanasikara ghanena patichanata na upadati. Okay, so yeah, so anatta lakkhana, it's the characteristic of non-self. The signs of non-self. So what is the sign? So when we contemplate this mental, physical nature, what are the signs about them that tells us that they are non-self? Okay, that's anatta lakkhana. Okay, so here it says this characteristic of non-self does not become apparent, does not clearly manifest, because nana dhatu vinibhogasa amanasikara, because when you do not pay attention to the vinibhoga, to the vinibhoga, when it's separate. So all the various elements, nana dhatu means various elements. So here elements is not just a physical element, including also mental elements also. Okay? So mind element and so on. Mind element, mind consciousness element. Okay? So how they are, vinibhoga means they are separate. How they are separate in our experience, although they arise together in one moment of experience. But when we do not pay attention to discern that they are actually separate nature. So this is what it means. Nana dhatu vinibhogasa amanasikara. So when we do not pay attention to how they are, these various elements, they are actually separate nature. Okay, so some translator translated as the resolution into various elements. How this experience resolve into various elements. You do not pay attention to that. Okay, so when you do not pay attention to this, then the ghanena patichanata. So it is concealed by this gana. Gana means compactness. It appears compact. Okay. First, we come back to this first. This characteristic of non-self, anatta lakkhana. Here, the characteristic of non-self that is meant here is the asaraka tena anatta. So it is non-self in the sense of having no core. Core, C-O-R-E, core, or no essence. What it means is that there is no inner permanent core in our experience. Okay? So that means in our experience, so we have a lot of experience, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking throughout the day. So one of the attawada, the view of the self, or the doctrine of the self, one of it states that in the core of our experience, there is something permanent that survive unchanged from one moment of experience to another. Right? So all this, when you're experiencing all this, seeing, hearing, smelling, you may say that, oh, seeing is one thing, hearing another thing, smelling another thing, right? But there is something that survive unchanged, from seeing to hearing, from hearing to smelling, and so on. So at the core of our experience, there is something that does not change, that is everlasting. There's an everlasting essence in the center of our experience, the inner core that is permanent, that does not change, that does not disappear. So, and this is usually identified as the soul, the Atman, right? So, which depending on which Attawada, some say that it is, this soul is eternal. After death, it exists eternally. So this is called Sasatawada, eternalism. Okay? And there's another view that says that this soul is annihilated after death. Okay? So it's destroyed upon death. So this is the nihilist view. Okay? Uchedawada, the nihilist view. So they have both this view. They believe that there is something within our experience that survive unchanged from moment to moment. Okay, that is permanent. Okay, so this is the characteristic of non-self, and they say that this characteristic is concealed due to compactness. Okay, so this compactness is the appearance which gives rise to the wrong notion of the way things are. Right? So when we do not pay attention to how our experience are composed of various nama rupa dhamma, various mental, physical qualities or nature. Okay? So our experience composed of various nature, right? Seeing, for example, so in the sutta, the Buddha mentioned seeing, there are different nature present, right? There's the eye sensitivity is one nature. The eye consciousness is another nature. The visible object is another nature. The eye contact is another nature. The feeling that's born of the eye contact is another nature. Okay? So altogether, this 5 nature mentioned by the Buddha, usually in the sutta. Okay? Of course, there are more than that. You study Abhidhamma, even more. So every moment of our experience composed of this various nature coming together in one moment. Okay, so when we do not pay attention to how our experience are composed of this various nature, then the mind will automatically put them all together, lump them together as one whole thing. Because you cannot see that they are each a separate nature, right? So they are all mixed up together, like your smoothie. You put everything together and then you blend them all mixed up together, right? So you cannot tell one from the other. So you take them as one whole thing, right? So then you interpret your experience as consisting of one whole compact solid thing, which you then identify as a self or something belonging to the self. So take for example when you're not rising, so you note carefully, your mind is clear, you discern, okay, there is one, this tension. Attention is one nature, right? Then what else is there? Knowing. So there's a knowing mind, knowing of the tension. There's another nature. Okay? Sometimes your mind is clear, you can realize that there's also the sensitivity, bodily sensitivity. You realize there's this nature, sensitivity. Without this, you can't feel anything. You can't feel the tension. So there's a nature sensitivity. So yes, sometimes you're clear, you can pick up this nature sensitivity. So sometimes what the yogi note is actually sensitivity. But they do not realize, they think, oh, it's still this tension or tightness. Actually, it's more of the sensitivity. So sometimes you feel the mind contacting the object, right? When you note the tension, you can feel the mind is contacting the object. Sometimes you feel the feeling behind it, right? Especially when it's very rising, feels very uncomfortable, very, very tight. Then the feeling becomes prominent. So if your mind is clear and you note continuously rising, falling, so you will realize that each moment of rising, when you note, it actually consists of all this various nature, various Dhamma. But when your mind is not clear, noting is not clear, or if you are not noting at all, when you're not practicing meditation at all, so all these are lumped together, right? So you cannot tell them apart. They are all just one whole experience. Okay? And then you will identify. So as either the self. So you identify, you know, oh, I know, my abdomen is rising. So sometimes yogi report, I know my abdomen rising, I know my abdomen falling. So it's still the I there. So, so identify as I, or my abdomen. So something belonging to the self. So we tend to do this, right? We tend to identify things when they are put together. We tend to identify them as some entity, right? When we cannot tell them apart. Okay, so you don't pay attention by resolving the experience into the various component or constituent nature. So then things appear as one whole thing, which sometimes can appear even solid. And then this gives rise to the idea there's something solid, unchanging, permanent there. So then you identify it with the self or something belonging to the self. Okay? So it is this identification, this compactness that conceals the nature of anatta. Okay, of having no inner core. So in the sutta also, there's one sutta. They give the famous simile of the chariot. So yatahi enga sambhara hoti sato rato iti evam kandesu santesu hoti satoti samuti. So yatahi enga sambhara. So just as when the constituent parts are put together, so the term chariot arise. So a chariot, so when you put together all the different parts together, you get the idea of a chariot. The term chariot arise. Or to use a modern example, a car. So you assemble all the different parts of the car together. Then you look at it and say, this is a car. Right? But you take it apart. Let's say you go to the factory before they assemble, all the parts are in all different places. You go here, you see the tires. Do you say that this is a car? It's just tires. You go to another part, you see, the doors. These are just doors. You go another part, you see, there's just the seats. So they're just seats. Right? Another part, you see the engine. Engine also in different parts. There's the piston, there's the valve, there's the carburetor, there's the spark plug. And all these parts are not assembled together. You just see them as they are. This is just a spark plug. This is just the piston. This is just the valve. But when you go to the end of the assembly line, when after all have been assembled, you look, this is the car. This is the Ferrari or Lamborghini or Kanchil. So the idea arises when things are put together, and then you cannot tell them apart. So you take them together. And I identify this is what, that is what. So evam kandesu santesu. So in the same way, when the aggregates present together, come together, hoti satoti samuti, the conventional idea or the concept of a being arise. Okay, so when it comes together, five aggregates. When does five aggregates come together? Every moment you see, every moment you hear, you smell, you taste, you touch, you think, you feel, you know. Five aggregates arise. So when you do not observe them carefully, so they appear as one whole solid thing, compact together. Then you identify, this is I, this is me, this is a being. Yeah. So that's why you need the method of vipassana to note carefully, note precisely, note continuously, in order to break this compactness, to resolve it. So when the yogi is able to note continuously, every moment he just see there's just this mental or physical nature. Again and again, all he sees is just this mental physical nature. Okay? And then they discern that this nature, each one of them arises, disappear, arises, disappear. So when you note like this, what happened to the compactness? First of all, it resolve, right? Resolve into the various mental, physical nature. And then each one of them disappear. Then what is there? What is left? What is left is just empty, sunya, emptiness. It is empty of a self, empty of what belongs to a self. This is the meaning of sunyata. When we say sunyata, emptiness, what it means is empty of a self or something belonging to a self. So rupam sunyam atena wa ataniyena wa. Materiality is empty of self, atta, empty of ataniya, what belongs to a self. That's the meaning of emptiness. So when your yogi can discern clearly, he sees every mental, physical nature is empty of a self. So at the core of existence, there's nothing, empty. There's no permanent self or something belonging to a self. So asaraka tena anatta is non-self in the sense of having no essence, no core, no inner permanent core or inner permanent essence. It's just empty. Okay. Now, in the commentaries, they describe this compactness. They mention 4 kinds of compactness of experience. 4 ways in which our experience can appear compact. So one of it, we already mentioned when we discuss about anicca lakkhana, that is santati lakkhana. So santati means continuity, right? So when things appear continuous, that is one kind of compactness. Okay? So this is the idea that arises by taking a series of continuously occurring phenomena as one solid whole. So because you fail to notice that each individual phenomena, each individual nature in the series, okay? So you cannot see that it actually consists of one nature after another, arising and disappearing. Okay? So they all appear joined together. So this is one kind of compactness. This is santati gana, compactness of continuity. Okay. So it's just like when you see the line of ants, right, on the wall. From far away, you think, oh, there's one black line on the wall. So you think just one solid line. But as you go closer and closer and closer, then you see the line resolve. Then you see, oh, it's actually one ends after another after another. So you resolve the continuity. So take for example, so this when you note the bending of your arm. So you note the intention to bend, right? So you observe carefully. It's just this intention. And then there's the motion of bending, right? Then after that, what happened? You haven't completely bent yet, right? So another impulse. Usually, we say intention, but impulse would be actually more accurate. So another impulse to arise. Bend further. Your mind command you, very subtly command you. You don't even know it's there unless you observe, oh, there's the impulse. Then another motion. And then another impulse, then another motion, another impulse, another motion. Right? So you see there's a series of impulse, one after another, giving rise to a series of bending motion, one after another. Right? So if you observe it carefully, this is what you discern. This is what you discern. There's a series of intention, series of impulse, series of movement. It's not just one continuous movement. It's not just one intention or impulse, right? So, but if you do not observe this carefully, like what you do when you're not practicing, right? Just bend. So then what arises in your mind? How do you understand this experience? You understand is, I am bending, right? So it's not that series of impulsion that is causing this bending. I am bending, right? So you take this whole thing, this whole series of impulsion, you identify as I. You take it as one whole thing, and then you identify as I. So I am bending. Okay. Also, you identify this motion of bending. My arm is bending. So this is my arm. My arm is bending. So you take this whole series of motion as one whole thing, as one whole arm, the same arm, continuously bending, unchanging. Okay? So this is called synthetic ghana, compactness due to continuity. Okay? The second one is called samuha ghana. Samuha means a mass of things. So here you take an experience that consists of various constituents or components as one single solid mass. So this is also what we have explained. So example, when you see, so the experience of seeing consists of various phenomena, various nature. So the eye sensitivity, the visible form, the eye consciousness, the eye contact, feeling bond of eye contact. Okay? So if you are noting clearly, this experience resolve into this various nature. Okay, but if your noting is not clear, then all this nature become like the assembled parts of the car. They come together, take it as one whole thing. Okay, and then you start to identify. For example, you identify with the seeing consciousness. What is it that see really? It's eye consciousness that see, but then you identify this eye consciousness, you take it together with the other things and say, I am seeing. So you identify this compactness of this mass of phenomena. I am seeing. Or you identify it as something belonging to the eye. With my eye, I am seeing. This is my eye. My eyesight is so good. I can see so clearly. So this samuha ghana. Next is, the third one is Kicha Gana. Kicha means function. So here you lump together all the different functions of consciousness and mental states, cetasikas. Okay. So consciousness, you can perform different function of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, receiving, investigating, all these different functions. So mental states also, cetasika, they have different function. Function of feeling, of perceiving, of paying attention, of applying on the mind, of exerting the mind, and so on. So, so these various mental states, they each perform their own function. When they arise in our experience, they each perform their individual function. Okay? But when your noting is not clear, so all these function they become lumped together. So, and then you identify all this function to the self. It is the self. I am seeing, I am hearing, I am smelling, I'm feeling, I am perceiving, I am paying attention, and so on. Yeah. So, so this is called Kichagana. So the compactness of the function. So all this function lumped together as one whole thing, and then you identify as the self. It's the self that is performing all this function. The fourth one is Aramana Gana. That is the compactness of the object. Right? So we are always experiencing different objects. So like when we are talking to a person, right? So we are experiencing different objects, right? So when I see Sister Sam, so this is one object. Yeah, this is the color. Right? And Sister Sam speaks, there's a sound. And that sound is another object. So if I come close enough to Sister Sam, if Sister Sam have not been bathing for a few days, then I get another object. So different object, you see. But when you do not discern clearly, you think there's only one object, that's Sister Sam. So there's another kind of compactness of object. These various different objects become lumped together as one, and they identify this is Sister Sam. So this is called Aramana Gana, compactness of object. So when you're practicing Vipassana, you're very clear. Sound is one object. The color is that you see is another object. The smell is another object. Taste is another object. Every object is a different nature. They are not lumped together. They are resolved into these various objects. Okay. Yeah. So therefore, in Vipassana meditation, when we practice, we must train ourselves to pay careful attention to our experiences. Okay? We need to develop this very sharp focus, mindfulness that is open, that is clear, sensitive, in order to perceive these different moments of experience as they arise. Different components or constituents of the experience, different function of the various mental states, and even the physical states, and the different objects that has been experienced. So we need to be able to discern each of them clearly as they appear in our experience. Only when you can do this, then you can resolve the compactness of experience, break it down into this various nature. Okay? This is called Ghana Viniboga, resolution of the compact. Okay? This is what we were trying to explain the other day with the simile of you cutting the cucumber. So you cut, slice it smaller and smaller. So you dissect your experience, resolve it into all these various components, constituents. So by doing so, the experience that at first appears to be compact begin to resolve into all this constituent nature, mental, physical qualities, and when your discernment is very clear, then you see that not just that your experience resolve into this various nature, but this various nature also they are constantly in a state of flux, constantly flitting in and out of existence, arising and disappearing. Okay? So they appear empty. Okay? So there's nothing there. The moment you not, especially when you come to Banganyana and beyond that, every time you not, it's just disappearing. There's nothing there anymore. Nothing. It's empty. Right? Empty of a self, or what belongs to a self. So in this way you dispel this notion of solidity, compactness in our experience. There's nothing there. So then you are able to see clearly, discern clearly. There's no inner permanent solid core in our experience, which we can identify as a self or something belonging to a self. Okay? So it's just all empty. So one of the way that the yogi experience anatta is to see the empty nature, sunyata. Okay, I think we stop here today. Imaya Dhamma Dhamma Patipatiya Buddham Pujemi. Imaya Dhamma Dhamma Patipatiya Dhammam Pujemi. Imaya Dhamma Dhamma Patipatiya Sangham Pujemi. Imaya Dhamma Dhamma Patipatiya Mata Pitunam Pujemi. Imaya Dhamma Dhamma Patipatiya Acariyanam Pujemi. Adha imaya patipadaya jaram maranamha parimocesami. Idame punyam asawakaya waham hotu. Idame punyam nibbanasa pacayo hotu. Idame silam magabhalanyanasa pacayo hotu. Imam no punya bhagam sabbasatanam dema. Imam no Dema Imam no Punya Bhagam Sabha Sadanam Dema Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. So may all of you be well, happy and peaceful always. May you all be healthy, be safe, be strong in body and in mind. So may you all be able to continuously practice the Dhamma without any obstacle, without any hindrances. May your practice be smooth, and may you all be able to experience the unconditioned peace of Nibbana through your practice of the Dhamma.